Hello friends and welcome to another video from my series called Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. 30 years and a bunch of weeks ago, the next episode of Star Trek The Next Generation premiered. It was called Ensigns of Command, hopefully I said it correctly, and these are my honest opinions about it. First of all, apologies for disappearing from the internet for almost 2 weeks, but I had a deadline in my day job, so I spent 12 to 14 hours each day working, and I didn't have the strength to record any video, but the project was finished, which means I'm back, and let's talk about this episode. The story was written by Melinda Snodgrass, which means several things. There will be not a huge amount of plot. It will have great character scenes and it will be huge on data. And indeed, there is not really that much plot. Most of the scenes are simply character driven. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm trying to say is that I won't talk about the plot way too much, unlike in some of the other videos. The episode starts with a concert. The band consists of Miles O'Brien, Data on violin, and extras who are probably real musicians, and Data immediately tells to Picard and Dr. Crusher that they should come to the next performance. Because he's not good enough, to which they respond with an explanation that explaining why he will fail before he even tries is not a good idea, especially for a commanding officer. And this opening scene is probably the best representation of this episode. Picard unfortunately has to leave because they were contacted by the Sheliak. The non-humanoid race known as the Sheliak didn't contact the humans for more than 100 years, so it's really rare to speak to them. They don't have good news, however. They were about to colonize a planet, which according to their treaty with the Federation belongs to the Sheliak, but they found that there is a human colony, or infestation. They have no value for human life, and the only reason why they didn't kill them all immediately after they discovered them is the peace treaty, which means that Picard and the crew have 3 days left to get them off the planet, otherwise they will die. Honestly, a great opening. When they arrived to the planet, they found out that there is radiation, which means that humans can't survive there. But of course, there's a tiny problem. These humans obviously did survive. They send there the only crew member who can survive it, Data, and expect that he will bring the couple of survivors back to the ship. But another problem, they find out that the colony consists of something like 15,000 people, which means they have less than 3 days to transport 15,000 people using only one shuttle. The transporter doesn't work because of the radiation, and they have just one android pilot, so they would need 4 weeks to transport them all in just one shuttle. But because this story doesn't have enough problems, there is another one. The leader of the colonists, a man called Gosheven, after talking to Data, claims that they won't leave their homes. A few locals, mainly a young female scientist named Adrienne Mackenzie, trust Data and would like to leave, but most of the people trust Gosheven more than some weird machine. So the rest of the episode is about 2 men trying to do what they can. Picard on the Enterprise tries to find some legal reason why the Sheliak should give them more time, and meanwhile Data on the planet tries to persuade the colonists to leave. And none of them is very successful for the most of the episode. Geordi and O'Brien are trying to change the transporter to make it work, but of course they won't be successful. Data, however, manages to get lucky with the lady. No, not that kind of lucky. She just kisses him, which makes him even more confused. Fun fact, when Gene Roddenberry read the script, he demanded to change the scene and let them actually have sex, since it was established that Data was quote-unquote fully functional. You know, the more I know about Roddenberry, the more I realize that he was a giant pervert, exactly my type of person. Data and Mackenzie go behind Goshaven's back and talk to the other villagers, trying to persuade them one by one that leaving is the correct thing to do. But Goshaven takes it as a real politician and, well, tries to kill his opponent. Because Data is a machine, it's technically not killing, more like shutting down a machine. But still, until this moment you could fully understand his reasoning for his behavior. But after this, he became basically a cartoon villain. He stabs Data with an electric stick and he collapses, so what do the other villagers do when they are seeing how their elected leader behaves like a violent psychopath for no apparent reason? They follow him. Oh, come on, really? I'm sorry, but these are not the people, these are sheep, and from now on I don't care about what happens to them. You know, I had sympathies for the villagers in the beginning of the episode. Yes, that includes Goshaven, but not anymore. I can understand them. They have achieved a lot. They built a village and aqueduct and managed to survive on a planet which would kill other lesser people. They lived there for more than 90 years, and suddenly some weird machine guy comes and tells them that they should leave their homes forever. And a reason is that some people who they never met have decided to give their planet to a race of creatures who they never ever even heard about. Of course that this is not fair to them, and I usually am on the side of the quote-unquote little guy, especially if this little guy has done nothing wrong to get into this mess. And you know, in the end, when Goshaven tells Data that he was willing to die defending his home, I absolutely understand it. I mean, if I was on his place, I would probably stay and defend my home even if I knew that I will die. That's why I said that I could never see him as the villain originally, and then the writer suddenly completely destroys his character. And, of course, the characters of all of the other villagers who silently follow him after watching him kill the messenger. Data eventually regains consciousness, but I'm not sure why. It's slightly confusing, at least for me. The episode is shot in such a way that it looks like Mackenzie has repaired him, but Data's dialogue suggests that his body repaired itself. And that's not really important, because what is important are the next scenes with Data. They are also slightly weird, and I'm not sure whose fault it is. The following sequence is shot in a way which makes it seem that Data is angry. I'm not sure if it was written that way, or if it was the decision of the director, or if it's Brent Spiner's performance, or a combination of all of the things above. But it's strange in a positive way. To be honest, his behavior is one of the very few things I remembered from this episode. Do you have these kind of episodes which stay in your head for years and you have to think about some of the scenes? The following scene is one of them, at least for me. Data fixes his phaser and orders Mackenzie to tell to Goshaven that he plans to destroy the aqueduct. When he arrives to the plaza, he shoots the guards down with the stun settings, then switches to kill, and with just one shot he destroys the whole water system. He is just one android with only one gun, and he within a few seconds manages to destroy their only water supply. So what can hundreds of Sheliak warriors do with them? They will be dead before they know they're under attack. So the villagers finally understand that their only chance to survive this is to leave and to ask the Federation to relocate them somewhere else. And even Goshaven gives up and Data can report that he has won. But they still don't have enough time to transport all of them to the Enterprise, which means that it's Picard's time. And thankfully Picard is also successful after several retries. When the bridge officers read the treaty, they realize that the treaty gives them the chance to call for third-party arbitration, and when the Sheliak agree, Picard nominates the Grisellas, a race which is right now in hibernation, but will be available in 6 months. So after some psychological game, the Sheliak decide to give the Enterprise the time they need to relocate the colonists, and episode is over. I don't really know what to say about this episode. It was written by Melinda Snodgrass, the same woman who wrote The Measure of a Man, so I expected to love it, but then I realized that she also wrote Up the Long Ladder. The main problem of this episode for me is that it's highly forgettable. I have watched it 4 times during the last 2 weeks, the last time was an hour before I started to write my little script, and I barely remember anything. I remember the Data violence scene, and the Data destroying stuff scene, and that's all. All of the other scenes are in my mind merged together, mainly because all of the scenes are basically the same. Picard tries to get some more time, he fails. Data tries to persuade the colonists, he fails, and so on until the last act when they suddenly both succeed. There is also one interesting scene where Picard and Troy discuss language, and I must admit that the scene where Picard wipes the dust of the dedication plaque is pretty funny, but that's it. All of the other scenes are just merged together. Do you guys know what is goulash or however you want to pronounce it? If yes, it's the best way how I can describe this episode. I would love to read Melinda's original script. This feels like it had way too many writers messing with it, and the fact that she wanted her name to be taken off the episode tells me that she wasn't really satisfied with the final version. Overall, on my standard scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is complete garbage, 10 is a masterpiece and 5 is just average, I would give this episode 6 out of 10, slightly above average. But as always, these were just my opinions. Let me know what do you think about this episode. Did you love it, hate it, or do you agree with my above average rating? Let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and I will be back in a couple of days with another video, probably about the next short track. I don't even dare to tell you when it will be up, because I suck at keeping my deadlines. Thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon. Bye.